Pasitikėtų teorinis be dviejų dalių, tokia truputėlį įžanginį, supažindinsiu, kaip ruošiama trenerių metodika ir kažką tai pamalonos jums. Ir antroji dalis eisim į taktinę pusę ir po pietų mes turėsime praktinės pratybas vėl pirmoje dalyje su komanda apie taktiką, o antroji dalyje jūs patys vėl esite į aikštę.
Yeah? Okay, morning coaches again. This morning I begin with showing some little things about the system. We work with Ajax, also the system which the Dutch Football Federation works. It's a system that we have made I think 7 or 8 years ago.
Pradžiai parodysim sistemą, su kuria dirba pati Ajaxo komanda ir Olandijos futbolo federacija, padaryta prieš 7 metus.
Because we saw that there were that the coaches need help in training sessions, but they're all connected to each other. And normally they're all islands.
Nes mato, kad treneriams reikalinga tam tikra pagalba ir jie turėtų būti susiję vienas su kitu.
In first situation we worked only with the satellite clubs of Ajax with this system, but later now the system is worldwide and there are a lot of federations, but also professional clubs are working now with the system.
Pradžiai šitą sistemą buvo naudojama su Ajaxo satelitiniais klubais, po to šitą sistemą išėjo į išorę ir daug federacijų, daugelis federacijų dabar dirba būtent šitą renginių sistemą.
Yeah, and if you look to the top, the technical director of a club or a federation have an account to see all the coaches' accounts in their country or their own club.
Ja, ir sistema yra tokia, kad vienas ar techninis direktorius ar kažkoks atsakingas asmuo turi pasijungimą ir tame pasijungime mato, kaip dirba visi treneriai turintys pasijungimą.
So when the coach is making a training session or an exercise, technical, the technical director can see it in the website and he can give them feedback.
Ja, ir principas yra toks, kad treneriai paruošia treniruotės ir techninis direktorius ar tas, kuris atsakingas, mato, kas ten yra ir gali rezimuoti ir daryti išvadas arba kažkokį tai.
Yeah, it's all to build structure. I explain the menu, and when you have questions, you can ask me. You see the dashboard. Every coach get an account. The pro licensed coaches get an account after the course.
Po šių kursų kiekvienas pro treneris gaus pasijungimą būtent šitą sistemą.
And yeah, maybe later the other coaches as well.
Galbūt vėlesniame etape ir kiti.
I'm logged in as a super user, what means that I'm logged in as a technical director. I can see everything in the system now. When I make a training session, I can schedule it in the agenda, like you see here. I can do tests with my player, tests like speed or agility or a shuttle run test. And I can also make an assessment.
Yeah.
Okay. The exercises are building up, the same like Patrick yesterday told you. We work with 4 phases. He's loading. Of course, warming up.
Visos pratimai sudėti lygiai taip pat kaip vakar Patrikas praktinėse užsiėmimuose.
Core 1, the technical part, Core 2, the technical part, and small-sided games.
Visas principas yra apšilimo pratimai, šitą pirma dalis, antra dalis ir žaidimai.
I have select now all the age categories, but if I'm a coach of, for example, the under-19 team, I only see the exercises from my under-19 age category.
Ja, tai jeigu matėte, ten yra nuo 6 metų iki suaugusių, pavyzdžiui, jeigu treneris yra U19, tai gali pasirinkti tik tai pratimus, kurie yra U19 kategorijoje.
Now, for example, when I click on Core 1, I see the topics of the website, heading, kicking and passing, kicking and receiving, move to beat an opponent, the exercise of yesterday, and throwing. Not only how to throw in, but always in combination with receiving and passing. Yeah.
Jo, ir jeigu mes turime tą dalį, kaip pavadinkime vakar, kad žiūrėjom karkasas arba kai kurį dedasi kiti, tai matom, kad gali būti ir galva, perdavimai, smūgiavimai ir veiksmai įveikti varžovą ir taip toliau.
When I click on kicking passing, I see the subtopics. I see passing, receiving, one-touch passing, position play. So it's step by step more difficult.
Jo, ir jeigu einam į kažką, tai randam pratimus jau palaipsniui einant į sudėtingumą.
But if I'm a coach of the under 10,
Jeigu, pavyzdžiui, esu 10 metų treneris,
you see, I see different subtopics. I see aiming, because yeah, that's for under 10. It's not for under 19. Passing, receiving, one-touch passing, etc. So the system will show me only the exercises from your age category.
jo, yra išdėstyta amžiaus kategorija ir jos yra skirtingos 10-15.
When I click on view, I see one exercise.
Jeigu einam konkrečio pratimų,
There are more than 800 exercises in the website.
daugiau negu 800 pratimų čia
Drawing,
nupieštas.
if you print the session, you can also see the drawing.
Jeigu įsispaudinam, tai gausis atspaudintas būtent nupieštas pratimas.
You see the organization form,
Organizavimas visas,
the materials you need,
kokie reikalingi priemonės, kokios reikalingos.
and especially what Patrick yesterday told, the distance of the field.
Ir taip pat atstumai ir dydžiai ir nurodymai.
And the coach moments.
Treneriui.
What
Nurodymai
do you
treneriui.
need to say to the players?
Arba nurodymai treneriui, ką jis turi pasakyti žaidėjams.
Now, of course, in animation movies, it's a simple exercise, but it explains you how the animation works.
You can do large.
And we have, with all the technical skills, we have also a video.
Jo, ir mes turime animuotą formą judesyje ir mes turime filmuotą video medžiagą.
It's right, receiving left, passing left,
Ką vakar kažką truputėlį darė,
passing right.
priklausomai nuo pratimų.
Exercises, of course, two. The topics is finishing, technical and tactical, position gameplay, and position play.
Jo, čia kaip antroji dalyje arba antram karkase yra sudėtingesni, labiau taktiniai klausimai, žaidimo taktiniai pratimai, kamuolio kontrolės pratimai ir žaidimas pozicijose.
Yeah. I'm not going to explain all the exercises because that takes a long time. But again, you get an account. Maybe you get an account later so you can see the exercises all.
These are also exercises for first team, senior.
Yeah, for senior adult teams.
Jo, ir įvairios situacijos.
Okay, here we have the technical movies.
Čia įvairios technikos veiksmai. Video.
I think there are more than 150 or 200 movies which we have made in steps.
Čia yra visa krūva tų visų video, kur yra skirtingais lygiais.
Of course, this is an easy exercise only for us, but not for this age category.
Jo, čia atrodo mums lengva, bet iš tikrųjų tai jeigu pradėti pagal amžius, tai yra nuoseklumas ir jiems yra sudėtinga.
But I only want to show you that these exercises are building up step by step.
Jo, ir kaip minėjo, vakar visi pratimai yra apsunkinami arba tampa sudėtingesni palaipsniui.
He's playing now Manchester.
Yeah, this player Manchester United bought him from Ajax. He lost him.
Who is
This player,
Dark player.
Timothy, Fosu Mensa. He's Dutch, but African background.
You see step 4, it's with an opponent, passive. This is Abdel Nouri. And later on you have a defender. So it can happen when you give a training session to the under 11 or under 12 that 4 players are in step 4 or 5, but the other ones they train in step 2. Just to differentiate them.
Jo, ir man pačiam būnant tenai teko pamatyti, kad jeigu mes turime skirtingus lygius treniravimo, kaip matėte, yra pirmas žingsnis, antras, trečias, ketvirtas, tai žaidėjai vienos komandos vieni treniruojasi viename lygmenyje, kiti treniruojasi tą pratimą kitame lygmenyje. Yra pagal žaidėjų pajėgumą.
We also have goalkeeper exercises
Vartininkų.
with the first team goalkeeper,
Pirmos komandos trenerių vartininkų.
also many reaction games, speed ladders, so agility exercises.
Fizinių įvairių rengimų su kopetėlėmis, dar kažko.
Yeah, technical warming up exercises with ball.
Techninė pramankštau su kamuoliu.
He's 10, 11 years old like that.
10 years old.
Yeah.
One of the positive things is when you are a coach of a team, you can give your players an account to see the technical movies.
Jo, čia, pavyzdžiui, vaikams labai gerai, treneris gali suteikti prisijungimą vaikams žiūrėti būtent tą techninį.
Yeah, you only do that for unit, of course, but you can say, hey, next week we exercise the drag or the scissors, and then they can practice at home.
Jo, tai gali namuose treniruotis, jeigu prieš savaitę kažkokį tai tobulinti reikia.
Okay, how to make a training session? It's easy because you select the age category, you give the training session a name. And maybe your aim of this week is that you want to do something with transitions. Attacking. Then you save it. It's loading.
You're using not this internet. You need to choose which
You see a blank training session, you have 3 options. You have an option to choose an exercise from the Ajax database. Then you click on it and then you can say, hey, I want to begin with a warming up. And I begin with coordination training. And, this is not for under 19, but just to show you. Yeah?
You do it because he doesn't listen.
How old now is that? How old is that now?
97.
97.
Born in 97. Under 18.
Okay.
He's 17 becoming 18. Or he's already.
But I can also choose a third one, that's interesting for you coaches. You can make your own exercise, of course, it's in your own database.
Galima pasirinkti, kad pasinaudot, susikurt pačiam pratimą, kuris yra būtent šitame duomenų bazėje.
And you have an easy animation program in it.
Ir labai lengva ta programėlė ir animacijos.
So you can make your own exercise, of course. You can change field size. You can change the colors, of course, of the jerseys, because this is Ajax. You save it. And the technical director can see what you have made. Yeah. This training session you can print complete with the coach moments, with the materials, with the organization, or you can say I make it summary. And it's all on one paper.
Pilnai atspausdinti visą treniruotę su visko nurodymais, priemonėmis ir taip toliau, o galima padaryti santrauką.
Yeah, I think it takes 5 minutes to prepare your session.
Užima apie 5 minutės, okay, 6 minutes.
And if you have all your own exercise, then maybe it costs 10 minutes.
Užima 5 minutės paruošti duomenų bazės treniruotę, o maksimum 10 minučių, jeigu naudojam savo pratimus norint paruošti.
Yeah, so it's possible to make a year plan, or a 6 weeks plan, or 2 months a week plan.
Ja, kai kalbėjome apie planavimą, tai galima paruošti ir metinį planą, ir 6 savaičių, ir mėnesių ir taip toliau.
Now we have here the database of your own exercises, which you have made by yourself. You can always use again, of course.
Tie pratimai, kurie sukūrėte, pasilieka duomenų bazėje ir juos galite visados naudoti.
The second important thing, but I not explain everything, but because this is not too important for you, but I only want to show you a little.
Paprasčiausiai nepaaiškins visko, kadangi tai nėra aktualu jums, čia nėra prezentacija, kad viską išmokti.
Because we need to help the amateur clubs and the volunteer parents and the coaches who just started. We have made all the training sessions for the whole season, for the under 6 until the under 15s.
Ja, ir čia yra landing tracks, tai yra mokymo takelis, kur padaryta kaip pagalba nuo U6 iki U19, visų metų planas sudėliotas priklausomai nuo treniruočių skaičių per savaitę. Visos treniruotės.
I think from all the clubs who are working with our system, they all use the learning tracks for the youth academy.
Ja, ir jaunimo akademijose tie klubai, kurie dirba su šitą programą, naudoja būtent šitą. Kaip pavyzdžiui,
here you see the year plan, for example, of the under 15.
Pavyzdžiui, U15 visų metų programa su pratimais, su išdėstymais ir taip toliau.
Okay, the last thing is to play a tracking system where you can do 3 things. You can make a game review, of course, of your game. You can do a test of your team, and you can do an assessment of your team.
Ja, ir čia yra žaidėjų takelis, ar kaip čia žaidėjų pusė, kur galima padaryti įvertinimus, analizę ir taip toliau.
This is our example account.
Čia kaip pavyzdys.
OGA team. What means is that this is the team of George Ladru, the Romanian guy who has also worked with us. You can show a team. You can see the players of the team. And of course the pictures are not compared with the names, but that's not important. You see all the training sessions of this team, you see the tests, you see the reviews, and you can make a match review.
Ja, ir kaip matot, yra treniruotės visos, testai, apžvalgos ir rungtynės.
So every player have their own result card, which you can print. In the youth academy you can maybe discuss it with the parents to do a judgment call or something. But you can also say, I give it to the next coach of next year.
Ja, čia pažiūrėjau, vienu žaidėjų žiūrėjau ir yra visi informacija apie šitą žaidėją, ką jis darė ir taip toliau.
Now you see the matches, you see his remarks, and in the end, great. You see the tests he done.
Vertinimai, testai, rungtynės.
And the specific assessments. If you want to do a specific assessment, you can use the points of Ajax: technical, tactical, mental, physical, learning ability, team spirit. And the last point you can also make by yourself. I make now a player evaluation form, but you can also say, I want to add the assessment point like speed or insight or.
Ja, čia įvesta žaidėjų įvertinimų formulą, galima padaryti arba greičio, arba mąstysenos įžvalgos.
All the topics, they have sub-items: receiving, technical, passing, technical, scoring.
Ir visos kryptys turi dar sub-kryptis pasmulkintas.
Also, these points, they have sub-items: receiving, ball, open, close.
Dar tos turi dar smulkesnės dar įvertinimus.
And in these points we work with 4 grades, because it's not good, it's moderate, it's sufficient, or it's good.
Ja, ir yra įvertinimas keturiais lygiais: negerai, vidutiniškai, patenkinamai ir gerai.
So the coaches can never choose the middle, because that's safe.
treneriai
Or good
paprasčiausiai
or
jie
not
gali
good.
pasirinkti vidurkio, kaip renkamasi draugai, dažnai, mes žinot ir pas mus kursuose nuo A iki PRO yra visas 4 balų vertinimas, nėra vidurkio. Arba slabakas, arba geras.
But if I'm a coach, for example, of the national team under 16,
Jeigu aš esu treneris, kaip prokas,
oh, wait, again. Then you can say, I not want to use all the Ajax points, I only select the points which you think, in relation with Raimundas, which you think it's important.
treneris gali pasirinkti nenaudoti Ajaxo paruošto, o pasirinkti tos, kuriuos
Passing the ball,
nori.
specific, medium and short. You can see, okay, tactics may be important,
Technika, taktikos, kažkurios elementus gali svarbus būti.
creativity, win ambition important. So you make your own form,
Taip toliau.
and at the end, the list is not so long, but you can make it shorter, as short as you want.
Trumpą pasidaryti, kaip kokį norime.
Yeah? Under 16. I add him. Now I have made the form. I go to my dashboard and then I choose to schedule it in my agenda because I also want Raimundas to see my assessment. For today, I select my team. There he is, here, and the OGA team. Now I add him, and now you see here, my assessment is in my agenda. And now I begin with assess. I can do it by myself, you can do it also with your assistant coach, or maybe Raimundas want to do it. Then you click on it, then you see the team, and you can add the score per player.
Turim įvertinimą susikūrę patys ir galime nueiti tikslų įvertinimą, ką čia pirmą pasirinkę buvom.
Now you know if you select all the points, then the list is very long, but you can make it as short as you want.
Žaidėja yra labai paprastas įvertinimas, 4 balams, žaidėjo įvertinimas.
You can also say I make a print of it.
Galima atsispausdinti visą šitą paragrafą.
I'm not sure how it's coming out now, because it's on the beamer.
Nežinau, čia susijungs, nes yra neprijungta prie printerių.
You can make a print during the game or during the session. You can fill it in. You see the names of the players. You see the points which you have selected. You give a remark. Later on, when you are inside, you can put it in the computer.
Galima ant lapų atspausdinti būtent tuos visus duomenis, pasižymėti rungtynių metu ar po rungtynių ir susivesti į sistemą.
And the last point, you can make a report of all the players in the youth academy from, for example, 2002. Yeah? Or you say, no, I only want to see the OGA team, or the boys and girls. And then you see all the players under each other, the best player on top. And you can always see what he scored on technique, tactical, mental, learning ability, etc.
Ja, ir išreitinguotus galima padaryti kaip galutinį ataskaitą, išreitinguotą nuo geriausio iki blogiausio. Gal tuos techniką, taktiką, fizinis, mentalinis, kad mes pirmie buvom suvedę.
Okay. But I think to begin with the pro license coaches, it's interesting to make your own sessions, to create a database which the technical director can see and is able to give him, you guys feedback.
Ja, o pavyzdžiui, kalbant apie pro, tai tikriausiai yra svarbiau sukurti, naudoti treniruočių tą sukūrimą, kas yra duomenų bazėje, kurie gausit prisijungimą jūsų.
And all the exercises Patrick did yesterday, but also today, with the building up, they are in the website.
Ja, ir visus pratimus, kuriuos praktiškai darys ir vakar darė, šiandien darys, praktinis yra būtent čia.
Are there questions for now, for the system?
Gal sistemai turite klausimų dėl šitų sistemų?
No?
Ja, yra tikslas, mes tikriausiai nuo rugsėjo mėnesio federacijos įkrisim 100% su 1000 pasijungimų. Šitą sistemą pirksim ir kas norės dirbti, turės Neatrodo, gal šitą, kiekvienam lygyje. Kiekvienas rasti savo. O dabar klausimai. Languages. Yeah. No decision we will use English at the beginning.
Yeah, the English version, only the menu will do it in
Nes tikriausiai meniu viskas bus anksčiau, bet pratimai, ta prasme, angliškai padaryti. Nes labai didelis darbas šiam pratimui. O dar versti viską. And now you have which languages? How many languages you have in this program?
I have Italian, in menu,
Menu is Dalish,
English, Japanese, Greece. Yeah, but we make the menu in Lithuanian. No Dutch, not yet. Okay. Spanish is now coming. Russian is coming.
Japanese is I think it's system for free or
Yes.
Jo, tai buvo toks trumpas įvadas, kaip minėjau, kad tai yra bus įvadas supažindinti, dabar einam toliau.
Maybe I want to say a little bit about the website.
Your experience.
Yeah, but also Pro License is going to have his finish his course, and then they become a coach for first teams. But you can work with first teams. But I think the responsibility is the youth, because you can have first teams, but if they work not well in the youth academies, they don't develop the players well, you get bad players in the first team. And I think it's everyone's responsibility, not only the federation, but also people who had a great career as a player, give the knowledge to the youth, because if you help the youth players, you get better first team players. And I think that's a little bit about the website that gives you structure. And it's so nice that if I compare this country with Belarus, where I go every month, they are more closed. They're not open, and I can see that people like you here, they are very open. You can see that in speaking, that you speak your language, English. I'm there in a 4-star hotel. They don't speak English, the people who work there. And maybe it's also because it's communism and you need a visa, so the tourism is not so much there in that country. But I think there's an opportunity in this country to get knowledge from people who lived outside in the football and give the knowledge to the youth. And then all the teams, the senior teams, maybe become better. And it's simple, but you need structure. Sorry.
Mes kalbame apie pro trenerius, kurie sugrįžę galės iš karto naudotis tą sistemą, bet vis tiek esmė yra apie visą struktūrą parengimo. Trenerių reikalinga iš pačios atėję, visi ir tą sistemą labiau padeda struktūrizuoti, o negu kurti vienos komandos kažkokį tai planą. Jo patirtis šiuo metu atsakingas būtent už Baltarusijos under 15, yeah? In Russia, you're responsible, under 15.
Yeah, and he's also under 90, you spoke, but more under 50.
Yeah, Baltarusija irgi paėmė šitą sistemą, įdėjo į vieną U15 grupę ir ją naudoja labai uždaroje erdvėje. Bet tikslas, kaip minėjau, tai yra struktūrizuotai, nuo pat apačios rengimas naudojant sistemą.
If you see at Ajax, we are very happy that people like Frank de Boer, after his career in Qatar, he came back and he started with the under 13 at Ajax. And he did that 2-3 years. But we helped him with structurizing and organizing your training. But he gave us so many details and information about his football career. It's so nice to hear. And that's the same with Dennis Bergkamp, who started with under 12 and now assistant coach. And all those all top players who give a lot of information to the youth academy of Ajax. That's very nice and that's very good for the youth academy. It's worse when they start immediately in the first team.
Ja,
as a coach.
Kaip pavyzdys, pirmas treneris Deburas, jis grįžęs po baigęs karjerą Katare, grįžo į akademiją, dirbo su U14, U13 keletą metų. Jie padėjo jam kurti būtent treniruotės, o jis, kaip buvęs žaidėjas, padėjo tą patirtį įdėti į tą rinkimo struktūrą.
Yes. Before I start with this presentation, this is a presentation I already made in Mexico for Johan Cruyff. That only means that that means that every team has to follow a little bit some rules. So if this presentation gives only an opinion about if my team is stronger than the other one, what do I do? Do I play in the same system, or do I do something different to pressure everything more? My opponent is stronger. That's also possible. What do I do when my opponent is stronger? My opponent gets a red card. They play with 10 players. I play with 10 players against 11. It's the last minutes, but I have to win the game. And I'm playing with 11 against 10. Or it's the last minutes, I'm playing with 10 against 11. So that gives some rules, but the numbers are not right. But some rules about how we can play. But before, maybe I explain more something about how we pressure and how we build up.
Ja, dabar klausimas, ar mums reikia verstis, ar geriau suprasim originalų, kadangi pasidaro futbolo kalba. Jo, tai esmė dabar, viso šitos prezentacijos esmė, jis padaręs Cruyffui šitą konkrečiai darbą, kada žaidžiama skirtingose situacijose, kada yra mažiau, kada žaidėjų daugiau, kada reikia laikyti rezultatą, kada reikia atakuoti, priklausomai nuo žaidėjų skaičiaus, čia yra didesnis arba lygų žaidėjų skaičius tos situacijos.
Yeah, this one. Yeah? Yeah, I can do like this, but then I don't see by myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nematyti, mes čia galim padėti.
Yeah, but then they are too close.
Raimond, dėkit ant lentos, yra tas gi papačioj.
Nėra, nulūžo. Nuo to dėjimo nulūžo, žinau. Yeah, I remember our last night discussion. About 10 minutes playing next to the corner.
Italian style.
Italian style.
What type of yesterday?
Sorry.
I don't remember. What type of yesterday?
It was Juventus.
Maybe you went to
They're playing different style, not.
We are red, because then it's on the left side and this is on the right side. That's what I always prefer. When the opponent, we use 4 systems. So you have 4-3-3 with the point to the back, like the red ones and the blue ones. You have with the point to the front, so the blue ones play like this, with the point to the front. And you can have 4-4-2 with a flat midfield, 4 like this, or with the diamond midfield. Yeah, if you explain it in the youth and in the higher youth, you must do it simple, but there are more situations in the game. There are many situations in the game, but if you give them something and you say to them that it's very important, the distance between the positions are very important, the distance between the defense, midfield and the attackers, between the lines, it's very important, and the signal when you are going to pressure. Because when you are going to pressure, for example, it starts in the front, then the whole team has to react. But the striker, who will start most of the time with pressuring, if he's alone and there's a distance of 30 meters behind him, then it's stupid to pressure. So first of all, it's important that he sees that his own team is organized. And if his own team is organized behind him, and there's a way to pressure, then he has to go. And then the whole team has to react. That's what we try to explain to the players. What we first do is that we say to the attackers, right winger, striker, left winger, that first they have to try to pressure with 3. So, for example, when they play with the point to the back, then first of all, we play also with the point to the front. So we play now with the point to the back, that's our system, but then we do this. Yes? And if the ball goes here, then our striker does this. So he pressures from here. So he will play here, or he will play back. That's also possible. Or he will play back and then play to him. If he goes like this, then our winger, who's close by, and the ball is in that way that he can pressure, will pressure him between these positions. When he goes here, then he goes here. When he goes here, then he will go here, and he will go here. He will come inside because the ball is on this side. He will come inside. So all those rules in those for those players, it's very important. So the coaches from the side are watching if these players are trying to keep the distance and help each other. And we try to pressure from this way. What also is possible is so the striker doesn't start like this when the ball is at the goalkeeper. He always starts a little bit here, because then he can make his move. What we also do is that when the ball goes here, he will go here, and then you will see him standing on halves. We call it standing on halves. So he will not stand here, but he's already standing here. He is not standing here, but he's already standing here. So they are going to stay on halves. If the ball is there, he will be more here, he will be more here. And if they stand on halves, when the ball is going to him, then the midfielder is going to pressure. And he will go here. And he will stay here. When the ball comes here, he will become closer. Then he will become here, we will come here. So all the distance between the positions and the lines are very important. This is how we try to pressure. For example, Salzburg against Ajax, because the left defender and the left winger and the right defender and the right winger come very close to each other. And Salzburg, when the ball went to him, for example, they pressured like this. And then here. So they pressured like this. And that was, for Ajax, they couldn't find a solution for that. Because that was, and everything was full pressuring. 1v1 in the back. We try to do also 1v1 in the back, but we have always the opposite a left defender, when the ball is here, we always have, at the opponent, we always have the left defender come really inside. So if you have players who can give good crosses, then it's a little bit a problem. But you have the pressure that he can't give the cross. That's what you give in information to the player. This is how we do it. There are more ways. There are more ways to do it.
We don't care about this.
Yeah, because Italians don't build up.
No, we don't care about easy, because when the ball is on the right side like now, okay?
On the left side of the
where
left
it's now,
defender.
so the diagonal defender go, of course, in the stronger side, because where his ball is calling strong side. The opponent side, if even stay in the line there, the ball to reach there is around 2-3 seconds. 2 seconds around. So my defender right that come in the center every 2 seconds 40 meters around, 20 meters. So he reached to pressing there. I mean, we don't care if the player, when the ball is in the right side totally, we don't care if the player is in the line there. Because the ball
You are talking now about that your team is pressuring, or?
No, when pressure, it's the same. You pressing there,
Yeah.
but of course my defender must to make a preventiva marking prevention marking. Because even when we pressing,
That's Italian, eh?
yes, something like this.
Yeah, okay. What we say to the players is, if I pressure you, that I always go, and that your teammate, that I always go between you. That's what we say. So there are some rules how to pressure and where you have to think. So the distance between the positions, between the lines, that the whole team is organized, that's important. If you pressure always between the one with the ball and where he can play to. And aggressive, try to get the ball as soon as possible. When we play, yeah. So I told you about 4 systems we have to deal. In Holland we have to deal with 2 systems, the 4-3-3, point back, point front. So for us, when the opponent play with the point to the back, it's easy for us to build up. And we always, I think that's nice of Holland. I'm also critical, but there's also nice things of Holland, is that we always develop players, even at the amateur clubs. They try to develop players that you try to build up. Maybe sometimes it's too much, but if the whole country tries to develop the players how to build up, then you become better and better in the building up. And so this is a story what I think many players in Holland they know. Point to the back, it's easy to build up because we play 3 against 1, so we can always build up. So if he gets the ball, he tries to dribble in, he stays away, play to him, so it's easy to build up at this moment. When they play with the point to the front, we always say it becomes 3 against 2 in this situation. So still, it's good to build up. Because one of them, and he will stay away, then he will go to him, for example. He will go to him, he will play. Normally, you will see, if the distance are not so far, and it goes too slow, in the passing, for example, and not on the right foot, then every time, when he pressures, he goes here. He will keep the ball here. when he pressures, he will do this. So every time with two players they can keep them there. But if you do that fast and you make, for example, the distance more wide, then it will be more difficult for those two. But we try to develop them, even with the goalkeeper, develop them that they build up. One of the central defenders or one of the sitting midfielder. We always try to do that. But there are more situations, also in this situation, because it's also possible that the left winger is going to help or something. But we always say it's a position play, and we need to have one field player more. That's what we want to do. If you have one field player more, and you coach the players always in the youth academy, that you need to find the position play in that, then you always find solutions. If you don't help the youth players in exercises to deal with this situation, then they get nervous, they will do long balls, it will be a different game. And that's what we try to do always at Ajax, to develop them in that. And we are lucky, because at Ajax we can scout the best players of Holland. And in the older age we can get best players of other countries. And then the level of the training is getting higher and higher. My problem at Ajax now at this moment, for example, is that we make the teams too big. That players can't play in the weekend. And if I prefer more 14 plus 2, because then I have really the best players. If I have 18 plus 2, then the difference between 1 and 18 is more than 1 and 14. And if I have those 4 players, the 50, 60, 70, 80 player I don't have, then the level of my training is getting higher and higher. So I told you about with the point to the back, the defender has point to the back, point to the front, but it's also possible, and that's a little change. It's also possible that the opponent will play with 2 strikers. What is not used in Holland, but then they play flat midfield and they play with 2, so they play 4-4-2. Then it's okay. We can still build up. The nicest thing is when he goes here and he goes here, that the ball goes here. But that's too easy to say. But that should be very nice if that happens. But I think that's not happening a lot. They will always try to control him, that the ball doesn't go there. But they can play still 3 against 2. And if they do it very well, sometimes we drop down this one. But the most important thing is that he stays in the middle. That will be the most important thing. If they play with a diamond, what is difficult for us, we don't like the diamond, 4-4-2 and the diamond. But if they play the diamond, so they play like this, so they play 4-4 diamond and 2 strikers. So they pressure now more because they have also a player here against the number 6. Then for us, we like to play, and that's what we did in Mexico, because in Mexico almost all the teams we played against, they played like this. And then we try to find, so we play, for example, he will play in the middle, he will go here, so we have 3 players here. We try to keep the number 6 because that's the smart player, that's the play with the triangles. We want to keep him there. And then we have the right defender, because this is the left defender, this is the central defender, this is the right central defender, and this is the right defender. We can say, okay, we let him play right midfield, he becomes number 10, or we do it in the other way. The right central defender becomes central defender, he goes on the left side. That's why we prefer a left central defender with the left foot. And he goes left midfield and he becomes attacking midfield. So then we play 3-4-3. Like this. Yeah, this is nice how I show it, but there are so many options in the game. But if you give them some rules about distance, about tasks, about when to pressure, how to build up, then and you have smart players, then the solution they will find by themselves. And that's a little bit the difference. Louis van Gaal, for example, who I worked also with in the youth academy, they try to control everything. It can be negative, it can be positive. But as a player, you have sometimes a feeling that you don't understand anything about it, because he wants to try to control everything. And I think Louis van Gaal, for me, is a big example, because he is a great coach. But I think his problems is with players who come from other countries, who are used in another way of lifestyle, in another way of thinking of the game. He always has problems with those guys. And especially when the players are also the best players of the team. He likes players who listen to him. When he started in Barcelona, Rivaldo was his problem. Maybe now he has problems with, maybe Falcao, Di Maria, they don't play very well, but they are great players. How does it come that they don't play? Because they have a history, and they don't listen maybe so fast. And that's his problem. And he wants to control even this. He wants to say how you have to run, how you have to do it. And it can help. But the most successful periods of Louis van Gaal are with players who are young. Ribéry was also a problem for him at Bayern Munich, because he doesn't listen. He says, you are crazy. But I'm honest, I'm open, but Louis van Gaal for me is amazing, because what he did at Ajax in the 90s, in 95, was amazing. But also then at that moment the key was Frank Rijkaard. He was the key for success, otherwise they didn't succeed. So this is how we try to do. So we try to rotate. But you need players, you need right and left midfield players who can play attacking. You need right and left defenders who can play right and left midfielder. You need central defenders who can play on the right side and on the left side. This is a little change. And you always will have one player extra in the back. That's what you try to create. One player in the back extra. 3 against 2. And this will be equal. But if one of the defenders comes in the middle, it becomes 5 against 4, or it becomes 4 against 3 when you play against 4-3-3. And here you will always have one lesser. So try to create against the 4 defenders. The first option, try to create equal. But we try to develop players who are fantastic in the 1v1s. We must have players who are very good in the 1v1s. That's our problem now. Now this is a little bit how to solve against 4-3-3, point to the back, point to the front, 4-4-2, flat, diamond. And you see, I don't change a lot in my team. And if I develop in the youth academy from under 13, under 14, that they play 4-3-3 like we want to play, but also this system, 3-4-3, then it's easy for them when they play against 4-4-2 to go to 3-4-3. We have, for example, a discussion, maybe it's also nice for you to know, because our federation the blue ones, they play 4-3-3 with the point to the front. So we have, in the under 15, we have a fantastic, a little Busquets. We have a little Busquets in the under 16, only he's blonde. And Ajax play like this. He's fantastic as a number 6. But in the federation he must play, because he's a right-footed, normally, he must play right half in another role. and he's not a good runner, but he's tactically so good, they don't take him. But he's one of our best players in our system and our way of playing. We don't say, we are Ajax, a federation, you have to play with the sitting midfielder. But I think the federation have to take care, the most important thing for the federation is, who are the players who are going to have a chance to come in the national team. It's the same as that we as Ajax say, who are the players we think they come in the first team of Ajax. So if this is a player who can reach the first team of Ajax, or the national team, maybe it's good for them to invite him to play also in this system. For us, it's a lesson that we also sometimes have to put him in this position to help him, because you have to run more. You have more responsibilities and it's more open behind you. So we have to help this player to make him a little bit more functional. Yeah, this is how we play. Maybe I explain this. When the opponent is weaker, maybe the first team of Ajax, they don't do that fast, but in the youth teams we want them to do that. Because if you play 3-4-3, then the back has 3 defenders. This is how Louis van Gaal played in the 90s, and win the Champions League. Because this was Danny Blind and this was Frank Rijkaard. And this was Michael Reiziger, and this was Frank de Boer, this was Jari Liedmanen, and this was David, Seedorf. Yeah, it was a team with good players. This was Vanidi George, and this was Overmars, and this was Kluivert, yeah. But first, and Canu, we had also Canu, maybe you know that name. But they could play also like that. So, in the youth academy, we want them to play like this when the opponent is weaker, because you get more responsibilities. You train them also in the full pressure. 3-5 seconds you have to keep. You have to get the ball back. So when you lose the ball, everyone is thinking frontal, not backwards, because that's the problem. Sometimes Frank de Boer has with his team at Ajax. That some players, when they lose the ball, they go backwards because it's in the nature, and we try to defend frontal. Opponent weaker, try to play like this. Yeah. Opponent stronger, we drop down the striker. So when the opponent is stronger, it depends also if the left defender is a good building up player, if the right central defender is a good player. Oh. Yeah, because they don't see it. Oh, okay. So we only change this. Yeah. It's 11-11, but it's in the last part of the game, and we have to force a goal. We have to win, maybe, because it's a final, something like that. Then these players are important, that they stay deep away. We have a central defender who's going to be extra, and we play balls, we play falling balls, like this, not like this, because then it's nicer for the opponent to defend, because you can head it further away. And in the middle, we play with the number 6 normally here, he will go there, and we play with an attacking midfielder. So that's the full attacking, how we try to play. We can also play it from here, we can also play it from here. Also nice discussion in Holland, also at Ajax, between the youth and the first team technical staff. Right winger, right foot, left winger, left foot. Yeah, that's the discussion. In the youth academy,
the middle of the tactic you play.
Yeah, but we think it's better to have a right-footed player here and a left-footed player here, because then he goes outside. If you have a striker who goes first post or something like that,
Cross, yes.
yeah. But then Frank de Boer, because that was critical to the first team, then Frank de Boer says, hey, Ronaldo, play on the left side, right-footed player. Ribéry, play on the left side, right-footed player. And he's right, Arjen Robben, left-footed player, plays on the right side. Messi, in the beginning, with Guardiola, played from the right side. Yeah, there are more situations, but we know that if you are a right winger with the right foot, then the old style is you go outside and you give to cross with the right. If the left foot player is here, he goes, most of the time, Arjen Robben goes inside. He tries to shoot here. Yeah, and then it will be different because then he has to come. You know, Messi was playing here, go inside. Dani Alves was the one in the good time who was coming up. And yeah, maybe here I think it was Abidal or something, and then he was coming up. Thierry Henry was playing there. Now, for everything is something to say, but it's something to think about, because if you have a left-footed player here, your whole team has to react on that. If you are a coach who wants them to have the right distance between the positions, the right distance between the lines. Because that's very important. Next, please. We are playing with 10 players. So it's possible. Red card. I gave a presentation in Mexico to all the coaches of Chivas. And then the next day there was a trophy final against Atlas Guadalajara in the same city. And that's really tough. Like Ajax Feyenoord, maybe Porto Sporting, Barcelona Real, all those. And he got a red card after 10 minutes. And we explained everything. And I always say after my presentation, is it clear? But maybe you have other options. Maybe I have to change the presentation because you have other things. No, everything was clear. And he had, after 10 minutes, and he did so stupid things, and he lost the game. And then we had an evaluation with all the coaches, and then we said to each other, and even the Mexican coaches said, yeah, but we were talking about it, we made some rules, what to do, in which situation. Now, if we have 10 players, then the two strikers, they go a little bit inside when the central defenders are the ones who can build up very well. Yeah. So opponents are strong, central defense are strong building up players. Now maybe it's possible that the right and the left defender are strong building up players. Yeah. We have to maintain the score. The team is on the positive side of the score. We are with 10 players, but we want to win. So we have to maintain the score. 4. This is normally the midfield. Number 7 extra. Number 9 in the middle. We try to close everything to maintain the score. Even we do that in Holland. We are still with 10 players, but we have the problem. We have to score. It's in the last minutes, because that's important. Because if you start 10 minutes of the game with this, you kill the players. But we are losing. We have to score. It's the last minutes. Then we try to play 3-3-3. Yeah. We play against 10. So if we play against 10, then most of the time, the opponent will play with 2 strikers. What we do also. They will play with 2. Then for us, it's stupid to keep 4 players behind. That's our philosophy. So we try to force it more to the front. So we play 3-4-3. They will play 4-4-2. Maybe 4-5-1, it's also possible. The nice thing is of systems is if players change a little bit, it becomes another system. So, okay, against 10 players, but it's in the last minutes and we are losing. We are losing the game. Barcelona, Inter Milan. Inter Milan won the Champions League. They were winning. Barcelona's in the last minutes. You have to force a goal. Yeah, then you have to do attacking midfield. Number 4, PK, maybe to the front. Good wingers to the side, stay on the side. This is also the philosophy of Johan Cruyff. So I was lucky that I worked in Mexico and he came there once and then he checks everything and he gives his opinion. He can talk a lot. He doesn't do anything on paper. Other people does that. He can talk a lot, but you have to listen to him because he's like a book. And he thinks really different than everyone. That makes him so special. Yeah, and then you try to do it like this, against, last part of the game, try to score. Yeah. Against 10 players, I have to see it, against 10 players, the wingers stay deep and wide. We play with 2 here, 1 in the front, 4, 3, 3 in the front, against 10 players. Against 10 players, last part of the match, forced to get a goal, and then again, but now you know, when you understand everything in the before, then you know what's coming, against what situation. We always, if you always follow the rules, we have 3, they have 3 defenders, they have 2 attackers, we have 4, they have 3 attackers, and if it's in the last minutes you have to take a little bit more risk, all those things, then you can make your own presentation. Yeah, Sander said to me, Johan Cruyff, he has also a book in Holland, because he always have nice things about the football. For example, throw in. He says, the best player has to throw in, because he's the one who is free. So if the best player throw in, he wants to get the ball back and then the best player has the ball. He always says, if I'm central defender and I can choose to the side or I can choose to the front, then it's better to choose to the front, because if you lose the ball and you play to the front, you are behind it. If you play to the side and you lose the ball, then you have to run. So all those things he put in a book. He didn't do that, but somebody did it for him. And it's always nice to read those things, because he's thinking totally different. And I can tell you, it's Guardiola and it's also Van Gaal and all the other coaches who helped to make, and Frank Rijkaard at Barcelona, who helped Barcelona and Bayern Munich in a higher level. But it started with Rinus Michels, that was a coach in the 70s in Holland, who played for Ajax, who was also the national coach in '74, when they lost the final against Germany. We always lose the finals, but they lost the final against Germany, but it was the first time Holland played total football in a way they never saw in the world. And that was the beginning also, because Rinus Michels became the coach of Barcelona. He took Johan Cruyff as a player there, and Johan Neeskens, who was also a great player. And there they started to build the Dutch way in Barcelona. And I think that was the beginning of there. And Johan Cruyff always stayed in Barcelona. He became also coach, win the Champions League with Ronald Koeman. And but also he built everything in the youth academy. And Bayern Munich, I think also it was very good for Bayern Munich to have Louis van Gaal there, because he created also something what was not happening in Germany before. Because Germans, always we say, they win more prizes than Holland. I want to say that before. But always it was physical, and it was and there was a great mentality, but not the tiki-taka. And now Guardiola is there. He improves it more and more, and I think that was very good for Bayern Munich to do that, and for Barcelona. But everything started with Johan Cruyff, because he was thinking always in those situations before. Although when I see the video of 1974, it looks very slow, the football.
No, it's video on TV is what not.
Do you think it's like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I see also Johan Cruyff he was a striker, left or striker. He's going back, take the ball, he's dribbling and he's looking and nobody comes to him.
But I was running with same speed as now.
Okay.
Not now.
Sorry. No, I saw you yesterday. Okay. Yeah. Maybe this is also nice. Maybe it's good to know. When I started in Saudi Arabia, Mexico,
One break.
One break?
Yeah, we can prove.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 minutes for coffee.
Ok, trumpą pertraukėlę, kadangi bus nauja tema, tai suvirškinsim tas, kas buvo ir jeigu yra klausimų iš tos buvusios, o dabar pertraukėlė 3 minutes.
Coaches didn't want to go to the doctor or to the therapist because then they don't have the players back, because the players have to stay 5 weeks away. So the first thing what I said is everyone has to give a PowerPoint presentation. So everyone, doctor, therapist, dietist, mental coach, everyone. They give a PowerPoint presentation. I give them some points, contents, I give them some points, but for the doctor it's different than here. And I give them some points. And from there they have to make a PowerPoint presentation. And then everyone is there who's responsible for the youth academy. But you can do it also with the first team. You can also say to your assistant coach, to your goalkeeper coach, to the mental coach, to the dietist, to everyone, give a PowerPoint presentation. What are your thoughts for this season to make the first team players better? And everyone will do that from his opinion, from his professional. And now they had to do that. They give a PowerPoint presentation 3 times per year, in the beginning, in the middle, at the end. And from there I saw communication and integration. Because now the coach saw for the first time what the doctor did for all the players. And he did some good things in Saudi Arabia. He did some tests, but the coach didn't know about the test from his players. So that was stupid. And from the presentations, they integrated. And then in December, I want the coach to give, because the doctor, the therapist, it's good to have them once and in some meetings. But then I said to the coach, no, and now we know what the doctor, the therapist, everyone, the mental coach, what they all do. And from your team, I want all the information in your presentation of your players. And that's why number of players, staff, level assessment, balance of your position. Balance of your position, ideal team is, for example, important for the scouting. Yeah, you have a scouting team, but normally the scouting team, they do their work, but they don't talk with the coaches. But that's very important, because if I'm a coach of under 18 and I miss a left defender, I have to make an ideal team, but maybe my ideal team is not 11 players. Maybe my ideal team is 9 players. So I keep positions open, so the scout can work on it, that position is becoming important for this age. And maybe the first team has to do the same. That now, Frank de Boer, for the next year, he gives a report to Mark Overmars, who is responsible for the scouting, and maybe 1 or 2 positions he keeps open, because he doesn't have the quality. Don't we find players in that position, then we have to deal with the player we have. So that's very important. SWOT, it's a strength, weakness, it's an analyze about your team, where are the weakest points, what are the best points, and opportunities. Yeah, opportunities, and what are we going to do to analyze the team to make it better. Player recruitment, priority scouting of your ideal team. Player development is, I asked the coach also to make a plan, how you do in your trainings, how do you do it in your games to develop the players in a higher level. And the nice thing of that is that the coaches, the other coaches, they can give comments to each other. So then you don't have that they talk with each other behind your back. I don't know if you think the same in that's something we say always at Ajax, in Holland. that you don't talk about each other, because you can do that in the meetings. Planning and objectives. So it's very important to have meetings. Yeah, this is the way, and I can tell you, to give PowerPoint presentations is also good for coaches. Because sometimes, for me now, it's easy to stand in front of a group because I do it for many years. But some coaches, they don't like to stand in front of the group and give a presentation. But as a coach and as a trainer, you have to do the same. But maybe to the players, and maybe young players, it's safe. But it's not so safe for their feeling to do to other coaches. So that's why you can do this. And I put this in it because filming doesn't lie. 2 years ago, I had a coach who was coaching a game in a way I didn't like. But when I talked with him, he said, no, I didn't do that. But he was always had an answer. It's not up to me to say how he has to do it, but I want to protect the players. And if I see that he has a negative way of coaching to the players, then I have to help the players. So I have to say to the coach, you have to think about what you are doing. And then I filmed him. He didn't know. I filmed him. So he thought that the guy up was filming the game, but he was filming the coach. And then I was talking with the coach, and I had the video, and then he saw himself, and he was surprised. He saw all the things we were talking about. So I only want to say, this is so nice. That doesn't lie. Yeah, I said it already a little bit. This is, I don't know if you know, this is Piet Keizer. Do you know that name? I'm looking at all the people.
Which one?
They say in Holland, they say, the older people, they say he was better than Johan Cruyff. He was in the, you know, in the 70s, Ajax win 3 times the Champions League. In the 70s, 71, 72, and he was there 3 times. And that was a great team with a great coach, but he was a great player. And he's also a scout. And in the scouting, we have a model. We always think of the tips, the technical, insight, personality, and the speed. And I can, later on, I can show it here. First I want to say, in the wheel 1, we need players from Amsterdam and around. 100 kilometers, because the parents have to bring the players. In wheel 2, if the scouting is not doing very well in wheel 1, in wheel 2 we have to get the players from PSV, Feyenoord, Sparta, all the good academies in Holland. If we are not, we don't have the quality in wheel 2, wheel 1, bring it to wheel 3, then we have to get players from, we have, for example, we have Václav Černý. He's also a player of under 19, he comes from Czechia. And that's really also a very good player. So we scout them from everywhere. So that's what we do in wheel 3. If we scout, we look at this form. Can you show the form? This is the information of the player. This is advice. Shootable, unshootable, maybe re-evaluate. Maybe we have to watch again. This is an average mark you give. We work in marks from 1 till 5. Although I think 1 till 4 is better, because if you have 5, always the coach goes to 3, because that's safe. Now, signature, etc. Then we talk about tips. Technical, insight. Insight is tactical. P, personality, and S, the speed. The P and the S, the personality is here. Leadership, mental gameships, perception, coachability, intelligence. Those are the mental, the personality parts. And this is the athletic, physical part. So how is his speed how is his reaction speed? Speed after 10 meters. Agility, action speed, frequency, endurance, coordination, footwork, stability, running technique. All those things are athletic parts. The technical, the T from the tips, is this one. Ball control, passing, moving, beat the opponent 1v1, on goal shooting, heading efficiently, cross, processing speed, defending 1v1, heading defending, all those technical heading, defending. This is the tactical part, that's the E from inzicht, tactical. Speed of the pass, combining capacity, positioning, helping defensively, but then tactical. We always talk about, in defense, we always talk about, how you say it, orientation and anticipation. Orientation, when I'm a right defender, my orientation is always, when the opponent, the right defender, has the ball, my orientation is always looking to the one who has the ball and looking to my opponent. When my opponent is there, my orientation is not good. But when my opponent is there, my orientation to the ball and my opponent is good. Anticipation is when the right defender is coming up and he plays to the right winger makes a good 1v1 against the left defender, then I have to help my right central defender and my left central defender. So I have to anticipate on a new situation. Still, it's important that I see him. But the most important thing is what is going to happen here. Because the left central defender has to go to the right winger. The right central defender has to defend the striker by himself. When the right defender, that's me, is coming inside, I go to a new situation. Anticipation, new situation. So I always talk about that. But that's the...
Yeah, čia mes su pasitarėm, I will translate with last one. Pasitarėm su Edgaru, kuris geriausiai tiktų, tai būtų numatymas, anticipation. Ne, numatymas naujos situacijos. Ne, skaitymas yra insight, išvalgymas, o čia yra numatymas labiau. Insight yra
transition. Sander will email this one if you want it. Okay? This is the tactical. So we have the S, the P, the T, the E, and this is a little bit more information about the player. So you answer yes or no. Is he left-footed? Yes. Is he right-footed? No. Is he two-footed? No. His health. Contact lenses, glasses. That's what also important at Ajax. And we have also poor children, and then when we check them, their eyes are not good. We have to help them. So everything they get for free. Glasses, lenses, when they play at Ajax. Is he a technical player? Yes or no? That's a little bit in common. Is he a character player? It's also important to know. Is he a team player? Is he creative? And etc. etc. Here it's the height and the weight. The build, fat, muscle, it's also possible, lean, thin. So all those points you have to make a circle if you think he's like that. Yeah, what we do now with goalkeepers, because the problem at Ajax when we started under 8, but with the goalkeepers we can have the problem that he's not getting tall, and we want goalkeepers at least 1.83 in the first team of Ajax. But when you get them from the young age, we had sometimes that the player, when he was 18, he became 175, and it's not nice. You have him in the whole academy, and then you have to say, yeah, sorry, but you are not tall enough. So now we do bone tests. We do bone tests, and from there, we need also information from the parents, and from there we get the information and then we can say, okay, we are going to develop you from the under 8 because we know that you get a certain of length. Yeah, that's important because it costs a lot of money developing a player. But this is from last year. Although I know that it's many people do it for a long time. They do it already. Yeah?
We do always invite parents
Yeah.
to see how big they are.
Yeah.
In Italy too.
Yeah.
Home test immediately to the professional club.
Also in the young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the young age especially.
Yeah.
Around 12 years old, when, in most when we have a good technical skill player, yeah, but a little bit still
Yeah.
short, so we immediately send to check.
Yeah. Yeah, I can talk and talk and talk, but this is the presentation. So this is some. Maybe you have something about Ajax you want to know, or you want to know something about Holland, about competition, about whatever. I don't know anything about Amsterdam, so don't ask me something about Amsterdam. But it must be football.
The red one.
Here you know everyone. Everything. You have questions? You can ask everything,
Technical questions, maybe.
What's maybe also nice to say, Holland is the distance between Holland competition and the Spain competition and the English competition and also the German, the level is getting, so we are going down. They call us the developing country. Yeah, is that a compliment? I don't see it. I don't see it as a compliment, because we want Ajax also that they come to the first 8 of the Champions League. That's our goal. That's our. We want to do everything for it to reach that.
So where is the problem? It might be that you are selling your best players.
Too young. The problem in Holland is,
Too young.
yeah, that players they leave. So Marco, maybe in the time of Marco van Basten, the players left when they were 25 years old or older. But now players leave when they are 20, 21.
You sold the kid to Manchester United at the age, what, 18?
16.
16.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our problem. And yeah, we can't stop it to England and to Spain because they have more money. You know, in England they get a lot of television money, so we can't stop that.
The problem is in monetary.
Yeah, now it's a money problem, but I think it's possible on the right moment to get a team of Ajax with very good youth players coming to the first team, but old players who coming back, like Frank Rijkaard did.
Yeah, but at what age he came back?
Yeah, he came back when he was 30 or 31.
Yeah.
Maybe because
But Rafael van der Vaart, for example, they are now working on it to get Rafael van der Vaart back from Haasval. Yeah, that's what they say. But maybe, yeah, maybe you know Demi de Zeeuw? De Zeeuw? Yeah, he played for in Russia, Sparta Moscow. He played for Ajax, went to Sparta Moscow, but now he went back to NAC. That's a club in the.
He went to
Anderlecht.
Yeah, Anderlecht, and then he went to, and now he went to NAC. Yeah, and NAC is now fighting to stay in the first division. But when he came back in January, and everyone was saying, he's too old, and why he goes to NAC, he didn't play for a couple of months, he was only training by himself. He came back and NAC was doing very well because of his experience. And they say that Rafael van der Vaart, he has a lot of experience, and that sometimes that helps also the younger players to become better, because there is no leader. The mentality from the players of nowadays, and especially at the Ajax first team, they don't correct each other. They don't get angry on each other. They accept everything. So if you give me a wrong pass, I walk away or I laugh. That's the mentality nowadays.
But the difference between Holland, if we compare our league or East European leagues, it's none. But your problem, I guess, because your the main goal is to sell, not to win like teams in England. They don't care how much they spend and how much they lose when they sell the player. The player they don't want to use anymore because he made a step down, like Manchester City. They have probably 30 top players, cost millions.
Yeah.
They don't care, they sell. They bought for 30, they sell for 8. But and that's, I think it's fair. You attract the players with the final target to sell them. So
Yeah,
you
but
make good money, you have
Yeah.
good structure, and you are developing.
Yeah, we have now a lot of money, Ajax.
Not forever.
Yeah, but now, but you have to know the mentality in Holland, and especially Ajax. At Ajax, if Ajax wins 3-0, but it's not a nice game, I don't know if you know a little bit Holland,
Yeah.
then the people are whistling, you know, but they win 3-0. Because in Amsterdam they are arrogant, they are used in the 70s, in the 90s, that they win everything.
That's what you call it, dick and neck.
Yeah, dikke nek, yeah, dikke nek, yeah, that's Dutch.
When we were in the World Cup final in 2010, the people were not happy. And everybody said, hey, we were so small, we reached the final.
The World Cup Brazil,
Yeah, Brazil.
there was a lot of criticizing to Louis van Gaal, because he was playing 5-3-2. And that's not normal in Holland. And so you have to know a little bit about the mentality in Holland, and that's also with Ajax. They want to get the best 8 of the Champions League because they think they can do that.
Still.
So they have the money now, and money is important, but now they have to find the solution, because the salary, they have a top salary. They don't go over that.
Caps.
And for example, Rafael van der Vaart, if he goes to America, he can earn double or maybe 3 double. He's also dealing with a club in America. Yeah, and then he goes for the money because he has 2 wives to give money. So and they spend a lot of money. No, but
Maybe dependent because the new manager of Ajax changed new generation mentality. The politics of the club now is different.
Yeah.
Because in the years when Ajax win, in the same moment, not only win, but selling even the best player, was maybe a different politics of the club. I think before Ajax when win the trophy, he make a value of the player after they selling. Now they selling before they win.
yeah,
Because the new management maybe
but
is
Rijkaard,
in different way.
Rijkaard came from AC Milan, eh? And the salary of AC Milan was much more than in Holland, really much more. But he said, I do it for my club because I started there and I have enough money, and I can tell you, Frank Rijkaard has 4 wives. He married 3 or 4 wives. So for the money, maybe yeah, Goede has 4 wives and 6 children everywhere.
They are competing?
I think so. No, but Frank Rijkaard came back and said, okay, I go for the salary of Ajax. What for me is a good salary. But he goes for that salary. And we miss those mentalities.
I think you missed here the management sexual.
There is a so young when you scout.
Yeah.
Important part.
Yeah.
If we can get players like Nigel de Jong or Westerstein.
Yeah, Nigel de Jong should be nice.
Nigel de Jong should be very.
He has 1 wife, and he has enough money. Yeah.
Scouting, new
New scouting point.
You scouting the one.